of the inauguration and President Trump being fully active in office. At this point, if I'm not mistaken, there's been over 200 executive orders signed with no signs of slowing down. So this live stream is essentially an emergency broadcast to all of my viewers and my pioneers of how essential the next 4 years are going to be. And honestly, just the next coming weeks of positioning. So just for context, for anybody that catches this new, I am a licensed retail banker. I have a FINRA investment license. I have a state mortgage originators license. I have a life insurance license, small business banker. I deal with business clients that are anywhere from basically $1 million in revenue, from $0 to $1 million in revenue. And I also deal with clients anywhere from working class, sometimes working poor, all the way up to 6 and sometimes occasionally 8 figures in net worth. I have a book of business I manage that at the time of this recording is around $22 to $23 million between consumers and small businesses and deposits, not really talking about the amount of loans or investments I deal with per se. So all of that having been said, I just want you to understand you're not getting this from just some random dude per se who's just like giving his opinion. I am somebody who's in the financial sector pretty knee deep for over 10 years now. And though the background may not give the perception at the time, I am somebody who has a little bit of a voice in this, given that I, again, work in the financial sector and I deal with small businesses and everyday people, homeowners, real estate investors, you name it, I am dealing with it, investors, etc. So the last 72 to 96 hours or so, give or take, have been pretty historic. Whether you agree or disagree with, President Trump's policies and perspectives, if you absolutely hate him or you think he's the Messiah in return, whatever the case may be, the young man is hitting the ground running. So this live stream is essentially to try to put out a little bit of a PSA. If you are an everyday American, working class American, investor, homeowner, aspiring homeowner, or small business owner, any of the bunch. If you're worried about your finances, your investments, you're worried about real estate, you're worried about the overall direction of economics, etc., this live stream is in order to give you at least a quick foundation of where you're going to want to be and how you're going to want to position yourself the next 4 years. But honestly, this year in 2025, because as these things start to take place, they're going to take place fast. And that is one of the biggest reasons I'm shooting this so soon versus just putting it in a regular long form video that might not come out for weeks. The most important thing that's going to happen right now is everybody who's focused on their finances is going to have to work off of speed. Absolutely going to have to work off of speed. As you can see, the young man has hit the ground running with full intent to make massive changes and overhauls to almost everything that was done the last 4 years. Everything that was not his work, 8 to 4 years ago, he's basically challenging and trying to undo and do his own thing. So what I'm here to tell you is that you are going to have to start laying a foundation for yourself and positioning yourself ASAP if you want to put yourself in position for the next 4 years or so and the ripple effect that will happen after 4 years or so, because everything he's doing now will not be undone even if another administration takes over after his 4 years is done. So let me tell you right out of the gate, I don't know how many of y'all remember the PPP era and the stimulus check era. Stimulus checks for consumers was pretty much not a big deal as far as what I'm about to talk about. But if you remember the PPP concept for small businesses, one of the reasons there was a lack of equity in the PPP process was because the larger, mid-sized, and even established small-sized businesses had huge upside on banking relationships and proper documentation and access to that funding before everybody else on Main Street could get their shit in order to access that money when they came out. And a lot of small businesses died without that capital. I know firsthand in my city that is a very, retail-based city, a very, music, artsy place-based city, etc. I know a lot of people who are native to my city in Southeast Louisiana and the New Orleans metro area. A lot of people were very dependent on excess capital to survive because they were musicians, artists, they were food vendors. There were a lot of things that depended on physical in-person business. And those exact people, I do panel speaking engagements, etc., around my city for the last couple to few years now, and I deal with these people face up. These people got chewed up and spit out because when that money came out, everybody who was established with their bankers, had established at their financial institutions, and had all of their documentation in order, gobbled that money up before any of these people could even realize how to even start applying for those loans and applying for that supplemental funding. Most of the PPP money went in the hands of not just large corporations, but small and mid-sized businesses that had their shit together. They had their Secretary of State's file. They had all their documents up to date. They had everything that they needed. They had great partner relationships with relationship managers and business bankers. They got in on these things and sometimes got called by those institutions about these things before they could even apply officially to get access to that capital. What I'm telling you right now is what we're dealing with in this administration right now is exactly that type of scenario on a broader scale. The economic opportunities will change and they will flow. For better or for worse, we'll have to see. But money is about to change and it will change directions. You will have to be on the other side of those who are prepared versus being on the side who get caught with their pants down. If you are somebody who's preparing to retire, if you just have retirement accounts, even if you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, again, if you're a homeowner, interest rate changes, the price of real estate, a small business and the access to capital, the change in regulation, the change in taxation, all of these things are going to make money flow at a different pace than it's ever flowed before, at least in our lifetime, at least so far in our lifetime. COVID changed a lot. What this man's presidency is looking like it's going to do is change even more. He's literally flipping and turning a lot of things on his head. He's trying to deregulate the entire energy sector. He's trying to deregulate the financial sector. On down the line, all of these things will have trickle effects outside of big, large multinational corporations. It will come home to Main Street. Those of you who don't believe trickle-down economics is a real thing, it is. I'm not saying it's the most equitable thing in the system. I'm not really getting into that one way or another, but I'm telling you it's a real thing. This will roll downhill to everyday working class and small business owning Americans. You will have to make sure that you are positioning yourself and trying to keep up with some of the trends that are related to your industry, policy changes that are related to your industry. Because if you don't pay attention to this in a reasonable amount of time, you're going to look up and it's going to be the PPP scenario I just described. You're going to look up and all of that money is going to be flooded in and been absorbed by those who are in position before you can even get your head around and start trying to sign up or put yourself in position to access that economic opportunity. He is changing a lot and he's going to change a lot in the coming weeks. The snowball effect of that will kick in and those who are in position are going to gobble it up. I'm not trying to make it sound as if this, is extremely limited or it's just this little cookie that their pieces and their crumbs off and there's going to be nothing left. There's going to be a very broad scale opportunity. What I am trying to say is the divide between the haves and the have-nots, the people in the know, the people in position versus those who are not, is going to get enormous in the next 4 years. Not necessarily because he's going to intentionally try to put the money in the pockets of these well-established individuals and companies, but because the way he's going to move policies, it's going to make money move faster. And the people with the closest proximity, the people with their documentation in order, the people with their relationships in order are going to be the ones to capitalize on it. What does that mean for you if you're on the ground? If you're a small business, you need to make sure, and I see this all day, every day. So I'm not preaching just to be preaching. I'm literally seeing this on a regular basis. I have clients all the time that come in, they're trying to get access to financial resources like business credit cards, business loans, except grants, whatever the case may be that we may offer as a financial institution or can get you access to as a financial institution. And every single time, well, the vast majority of the time, or well more than is necessary, a large group of those small business owners don't even have their basic paperwork up to date and filed. They can't retrieve their IRS EIN letters. Their Secretary of State hasn't been annual report filing hasn't been done in 1 or 2 years. So they're delinquent on that. The list goes on. The documentation you need just to prove you're a legitimate business and you're still in business before you can even start knocking on the door of any economic opportunities, grants, loans, and other financial resources has to be in order. And it has to be quickly. If you're in an industry that's about to experience significant shifts and changes, if you're in an industry that may have a byproduct shift by his policies, if interest rates coming down is going to shift your industry quickly, if deregulating is going to shift down to your industry quickly, you could be a food-based business that is near an energy plant that has not had business in forever because of the previous regulations. His policy changes to reignite drilling, to reignite natural gas and energy could put your business back in the proper place as a food vendor that may just be near a plant. Think about these things beyond just the big corporations and the people with the money that are near it. I promise you, it is going to be at your door. It is going to be at your door. If you are a small business owner starting with you, make sure your Secretary of State, your IRS EIN, your NAICS codes, make sure you have good relationship with bankers at your financial institution. Don't wait to walk in as a complete stranger to your bankers or to your financial institution, kicking the door down because you realize a certain financial opportunity or money is cheap again and you can borrow at a low rate and capitalize your business and get working capital, or you can get access. Underwriting has changed because the deregulation in the federal industry or the financial industry due to his policies has made money easier to get without, the hurdles that it once was in the last few years to get approved. When these things come, they're going to come quickly and they're not going to be endless. You're going to have to be in position ahead of time. So what I'm trying to tell you right now in this emergency broadcast is, you're a small business, a solopreneur, a freelancer, get your ducks in a row right now. Start shaking hands with your financial institution right now. Start getting your documentation and make sure everything you need to file annually is filed right now. If you're a real estate investor, it's the same thing. The opportunities are going to change. Make sure that you have your capital access together. Make sure that if you're going to be doing renovation, that you have your team together. You're dealing with the fact that deportations are happening. If the majority of your crew has been illegal immigrants and they are at threat of being picked up and deported in the next handful of weeks or months, you might want to plan for that now if your business is correlated to migrant workers. The list goes on. I am urging any and everybody who owns a small business, operating a solopreneur, find a freelance career, etc. There are going to be a lot of economic changes, for better or for worse. Money is going to flow. Make sure you have your shit in order, because what's going to happen is you're going to be pissed off when you look up in a couple to a few years and you're going to see something, an article, you're going to see something on the internet related to your industry where something has come and gone, or has come and you think it's still there and it's gone, or you find out it's not what it was when it first started because you're behind the 8 ball. Don't hesitate. One of the biggest problems, especially, I have to be honest and say, in the Black community in particular, for those of you who catch this, is we are asleep at the wheel when it comes to these economic changes, when it comes to these wind shifts in politics and policies. We are literally going from night to day or day to night, whatever your perspective may be, on how things are going to function in this country. This man has done a couple hundred executive orders in a matter of a few hours, and he looks like he might just be getting warmed up. So if you are an individual retiree, if you're an individual everyday person, if you're a parent and you're saving for your child, whatever the case may be, the number one thing you can do is try to watch and pay attention, not to the media entertainment portion of what's going on, but to the political shifts that can affect your job, that can affect interest rates and affect your ability to access, resources, that can affect the cost of your home or the cost of you getting into a home. It could affect your retirement account. Pay attention to the stock market. Pay attention to how his policies are affecting your portfolio. Get it rebalanced. Sit with an advisor and get it rebalanced. Things are changing. Where the investment opportunities were in the last 4 years, a significant portion of them are going to shift going forward. He's moving away from EV to gas, for instance. He's moving away from heavy regulations to looser regulations. He has different policies. He wants interest rates lower. That affects multiple industries. So I am telling you, without necessarily trying to get down to each and every single one of you, and I see some of y'all have jumped in the chat. I'm going to do my best to try to jump up and take a look at what y'all might be saying if y'all got any questions. But what I am trying to tell you is, make sure if you're invested, check on your portfolio on a regular basis, at least once a week for now, until things kind of settle down. Get in there on how to they watch as well and rebalance on a regular basis as well. At this point, I would say check them once a week, a couple times a month at least. If you're looking to buy a home, pay attention to the fact that he wants to cut regulations. He wants to change the labor force that's been influencing buying homes or the building of homes lately. He wants interest rates lower. When interest rates come down, what do you think is going to happen if he successfully gets the prices of homes to come down and interest rates to come down. That many more people are going to be able to afford a home. So while you're sitting up there salivating and screws me up, thinking that this opportunity is only going to be for you, it's going to be for hundreds of thousands and nearly millions of other buyers that are sitting on the sideline. And not only is it going to unlock inventory if rates come down, allowing people who are in existing homes to feel more comfortable to sell their home and move on to another home, opening up that inventory, but it's going to allow people that normally couldn't afford it by $20, $30, $50, $100,000 in buying power by interest rates coming down, by prices potentially coming down. That's going to allow a whole lot more people to be able to afford a home. So if you're looking to buy a home or you're a real estate investor, be in position ahead of time. Dry powder. Make sure your capital's together. Make sure your documentation's together and stay connected to a banker or a lender. Be in position to pull the trigger. If you're looking to buy, get a realtor lined up. Make sure they are eyes on the prize on properties you might be interested in. Why? Because when he makes the shifts he's making, some of these changes are going to come a lot faster than people think they're going to come. The man is already literally moving heaven and earth in a sense of speaking just in the first few days. Again, whether you agree or disagree with what he's doing, your money is literally impartial. It's literally unilateral. It's bipartisan. It doesn't give a damn about what side of the aisle. It needs to be nurtured and taken care of regardless of who's in office. So what I'm telling you is he's moving fast. He's not moving like the standard politicians that play around with a couple policies, a couple dozen executive orders, and then get into a gridlock with Congress or a gridlock with the House. Nah, my G, anything he has the ability to control, and he's even creating these national emergencies in different sectors so he can bypass needing to go through, the Senate and the House and all this other shit. He's doing everything in his power, what he believes is right, and his constituency believes is right, to move the needle. So whether or not you are on the business owner side, you are on the everyday consumer side, and you're looking to buy homes, you're looking, whatever the case, refinance old debt, if rates come down and you have an expensive ass car note or credit card debt, you can renegotiate these things. If rates really do start to come down, he's going to put a lot of pressure on the Federal Reserve, a lot of pressure. So that basically means that and the Federal Reserve already wants to drop rates, but they're at a standstill because they're seeing all the changes this man wants to make. And they don't want to drop rates prematurely. His policies turn out to be inflationary and they end up having to double back. So they're trying to be patient, but they want to come down by their own projections, and Trump wants it to come down ASAP. If these two work out some kind of negotiation or however the hell it ends up working, and rates start to actually come down, not just the deposit rates we've been experiencing, where the Fed's fund rates has only been putting down rates for us as depositors. It hasn't done it for mortgages, and it hasn't done it for much lending. And that's because bonds have not, bonds have actually been moving in a different direction than the rates coming down because of the potential for inflation not being under control and a few other factors. So my point in that is, for you, if you're looking to get into real estate, or if you're in real estate looking to make a transition, if you're looking to buy rentals, whatever the case may be, and you happen to catch this, wake up, make sure you're awake, and get your documentation and all of your network in order. You're going to need attorneys, you're going to need closing attorneys, you're going to need funding, you're going to need realtors. Make sure these people are literally like pinched and ready to go, because when the tide shifts, a lot of money is going to change hands, and it's going to change hands quickly. Interest rates have flirted with coming down in the past year or so out of a normal range, a normal high. And we've seen 10, 20, and 25% spikes in applications and shopping on homes, people showing interest on homes. If there's a meaningful shift in interest rates in the next whenever, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18 months, people are going to peel off of the sidelines to buy a property. There's still a supply and demand issue in this country. So whatever your background is as far as your financial objectives, you need to move swiftly. Make sure your identification, make sure that your relationship with your financial institutions and bankers, make sure if you're invested, make sure your portfolio is being monitored, and hopefully you have a professional helping you with that. If you're not a professional yourself, any of your objectives, you're a freelancer, entrepreneur, business owner of any sort, you need to be watching closely. Documentation in order, relationships in order, every moving part that's going to play a role in you executing on what you're trying to get. You need to document it and make sure that it is in place. That is what I am doing right now. I still feel like I'm behind, and I'm giving you this PSA, and I still feel like I ain't got all my shit in order yet. And I'm somebody as close to this as can get on the ground can be. So I'm telling you right now, make sure that you have everything in order when it comes to the financial and economic opportunities. Money is about to genuinely change hands at a rapid pace. Crypto, stock market, real estate, precious metals, you name it. Interest rates, all of these different things are about to change. The man is not showing any signs of backing down on what he believes is right in policies. And that means that he's going to push a lot of pressure. The United States still has a lot of power. So anybody who's a spokesperson for this country, if they want to apply pressure, they can apply pressure. We keep looking at so many videos and posts and all of this naysay conversation like America's become this weak, fragile country in the world, where I promise you, we still are big dogs in the world. If President Trump decides to put pressure, a whole lot of countries are acting like they're going to stand up and acting like they're going to push back. How much you want to bet? Before he even did his inauguration, you saw what Trudeau did in Canada. You saw what the Mexican president did. They started talking all that shit. As soon as he starts getting closer, they flying into the United States trying to talk and have a conversation. He talking about putting pressure on Saudi Arabia to bring oil prices down. All of these different things, I promise you, America still has the leverage to make happen if he decides to push it. He's showing no signs of playing around about it. Yes, he's a negotiator. Yes, he's a bluffer at times. But at the end of the day, as you can see, he's making changes. If you are looking to invest or just protect your finances, you might just be in a situation where you're dealing with paying down high interest debt. Be on the lookout for interest rate drops because you can renegotiate these things. This is going to be your opportunity, but make sure your credit is in order. It don't make no sense for rates to come down if you're not protecting your credit. It don't make no sense. You're not going to be able to move the needle, my G. It's not going to change anything. If you're looking to renegotiate a high auto loan, high credit cards, if you're happy to have bought a home like I did at the peak of interest rates and refinance opportunities come, you got to make sure your credit and your job stability is there. So make sure you're not playing around or taking for granted the mechanisms that are going to allow you to make changes financially when you think or you finally notice that it's time. Don't play around with those small mechanisms that add up to the entire outcome. You're going to need stable income. You're going to need your credit in order. You're going to need good relationships with the right people, and you're going to need your documentation in order. And I'm going to continue to film around this in my videos repeatedly because I am grateful that I'm in a position to watch everyday consumers, investors, and small businesses this up on a regular basis. And I'm telling you, I get the beauty of telling you in live broadcasts, as far out as this can get, share with as many people who you think is relevant that are focused on their finances. Don't play with your documentation. Don't play with anything that you got going on right now, because I'm telling you, the money is going to change hands fast, change hands quickly. The technology that is in place, if he deregulates all of the opportunities that are going to crop up, a lot is going to change. A lot is going to change. You don't want to be stuck with your hand up your ass, sitting there looking stupid when all this money changes hands and you done missed out on it. And now you want to blame the system. You want to blame him. You want to blame this, that, and the third. Money flows in this country regardless of who's in office. This is one of those situations where it's going to flow aggressively. It is going to flow aggressively. So put yourself in a proper position. I'm going to stop for a second and see if I can catch a couple of these comments. Because, you know, I got things sideways right now and see if I can answer any questions before I go. All right. My guy, PNR, I see you in there. See a couple of people up in here. Well, yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up. I just wanted for y'all real quick, let y'all know. Have your documentation in order. Make sure your income is anything you're going to need to qualify for lending. If that's your focus point, you're going to need a stable income and good credit and good relationships. If you're looking to focus on investing, you're in the stock market, even if it's just $10,000, it don't have to be a lot of money. It's still your money. Rebalance your portfolio, work with professionals or get near professionals who can help guide you on how to move your money around and move your investments around the opportunities to come, because they are out there and some of them are blatant. Some of them are blatant. So look for those opportunities. Deregulations are going to change a lot. The fact that he's looking to get interest rates lowered are going to change a lot. He's trying to force domestic production. So that is something else that is going to change a lot. That's going to put a lot more people back to work that are blue collar. It's going to change a lot of opportunities in geographies, because if you can remember, like Detroit is a good example of a place that was built around manufacturing. The car industry was Detroit. So when it left and got exported, Detroit fell apart. If that starts to come back on any meaningful level, that is going to change real estate valuations. People who are in business around there are going to see a boom because there's going to be workers there. There's going to be, money flowing there. There's going to be other larger businesses coming there. You don't want to wait until these opportunities are over the hump already. There's this bell curve for opportunities, right? And you want to catch it on the upswing. You don't want to wait till it's peaked and dropping back down and plateaus out to be in position. Get everything in order. These things are going to change. If he has any success with domestic production in the next couple of few years for oil, for manufacturing, energy, any of these different things that he's looking to bring back to America and force more companies to bring their opportunities to America, that is going to create 6 figures in jobs, easy, hundreds and thousands of jobs. And if he's deporting at the same time, that means Americans are going to have more access to jobs at better prices, at better pay rates. Americans will have a greater opportunity, whether you agree with the deportation situation or not. Money-wise, you need to focus on yourself and your family. The hell with the social politics for a second. Focus on your money, because politics is really fueled by money. So if you want influence in politics, you need your money right anyway. The deportation situation at the same time of a big push into domestic production will lead to a significant opportunity for new labor, new employment, as well as the geography changes and small business opportunities, because these people are going to need to eat. They're going to need access to entertainment, so on and so forth. So your opportunity to take your business to some of these more bustling areas whether they were dead or they going to be, these new areas that are going to get built up because people are bringing manufacturing there. They're bringing energy production there. This is your opportunity. Real estate valuations in those areas will change. If you have the opportunity and you're around something like that, buy property, buy land. Get there now, because in the next 6 months, year and a half, 2 years, 3 years, if he has real success in moving the needle and bringing back domestic production, and hundreds of thousands or potentially millions of the workforce that are normally taking those jobs are deported out, or locked up, or blocked out from those job opportunities, I'm telling you right now, it's going to open the door for you. Don't wait until it's coming and gone. Don't wait until the bell curve has dropped over the top. Put yourself in position right now. So I just want to put this out there. I can rant all day on this topic. I will be putting out more live streams, and I will be putting out more long form content to talk about these things and how you can strategically place yourself. Drop comments on the replay of this video. If you have questions or comments, drop it on the replay of the video. I'm not really responding to these live comments at the moment. Thank y'all, and I appreciate y'all greatly. But I'm just letting you know I'm not going to have the opportunity to do that because I need to film this and I need to get out of here. But I want y'all to drop it on the replay and let me know if you have questions, if you want me to cover something in particular that's your situation. I do my best to give as much free guidance, and I give my time, if I can, to my subscribers and my viewers, and giving them the best guidance I can as a banker and a small business banker, licensed mortgage loan originator, and FINRA licensed with investments. So whatever I can help with, comment down below. Credit related on a personal or business credit side, lending, I do that all day long for business and consumer. Drop your comments in the replay. Y'all make sure y'all share this, watch the replay, support the video, and I'm gonna see y'all soon.